The fish are watching? Lies, lies, lies! I know you're listening. Disbuned? Disbuned? What does this mean? We just met Raymond Clark and the fisherman at Fisherman's Rest. They sent us out into the waters of Appalachia to bring back fish, especially anything abnormal. We managed to connect them to the interloper in the Lucky Hole mine. The interloper wants fish. The fisherman is feeding him fish. But why? Could it have anything to do with what the fish might know? Things they learn because they're watching? On page 4 of the season shop, we find a new ally for sale, Dottie. We have to achieve rank 26 to buy anything from this page, and once we do, Dottie costs 60 tickets. Once purchased, we have access to build a big pile of boxes in our camp build menu. Inscribed upon the boxes are various writings, all related to fish. And after a while, a ghoul in a lab coat wanders over to the boxes and leans against them. Inscribed upon her lab coat are many of the same phrases, as well as the inscrutable phrase, disbuned. To find out what this is all about, we can talk to Dottie.
Hey, you. Where'd you find those boxes?
Why do you want to know?
Firstly, they're mine. But that's not even important right now. Those boxes are full of binders. Those binders are full of folders. Those folders full of papers. Those papers are filled with words. Words that, when put together, unlock secrets. And here you are, flaunting the new library of Alexandria for the government to know.
What are you talking about?
Government secrets. Secrets the government doesn't even know they know. But if we leave these here, they're gonna know that I know. If they know what I know, then they also know that I know what they know. You know?
I know.
Oh, you're quick on the uptake. Good. Maybe I can teach you. My name is Dottie. Or Dot. Or dash dot dot. Oh, wait. Dash dash dash. Wait. Dash. If you hear anyone calling me Dorothy, they're a spy. That's my legal name. And the only people who know that are the government. And now you. But I'm not worried about you. You're not the government. Huh, I've watched you for days, and you've never once unhinged your jaw to moisten your eyeballs.
What, like a lizard person? I'm actually part of the Enclave, which, kind of runs the government.
You believe in the Enclave. Don't you see? They're a distraction. You find them, and then you don't dig deeper into the real secret government. We're getting distracted. Look, I'm gonna set up shop here, literally in this case, but as payment, I'll make sure you learn a thing or two. I'm going to unpack and get ready, so let me know when you're ready to unpack the truth. Just stay away from the water in the meantime.
Stay away from the water? Oh, well, that's kinda gonna be hard, considering where my camp is. The Morse code she gave us a minute ago was partially correct. She started by saying dot, which is E, then she said dash dot dot, which is D, then she said dash dash dash, which is O, and finally dash, which is T, which spells out E dot. I think the first one was a mistake. She realized it and then went out to spell her own name in Morse code. Dot. Well, this Dottie seems a little unstable, but maybe she knows something that we don't. She leans upon her boxes, as if managing a shop, and every now and then says something weird.
The government wanted to see if they could remove a color without anyone noticing. That's why you don't see purple anymore. You ever wake up and think, today is the day it reveals itself? Well, that's how I felt this morning. I wonder why the sun keeps getting closer.
Closer? What? It's cloudy out. All right. Let's see if we can learn more.
You know this is a simulation, right?
What, like Tranquility Lane? Is she for real? You said something about setting up shop?
Dispanud!
Bless you.
No, that's just the name of my shop. Dispanud. Or Dottie's stock of significantly benign, non-confidential, and unrestricted documents. I was gonna call it Dottie's Collection of Universal Truths that set you free from the shackles of lies. But decouts of soul is awkward to say. My shop sells a variety of classified documents, items to reduce the amount of government eyes watching, and stuff that may be important later.
Well, let's see what you have for sale.
These items may look disconnected, but I assure you, they're pieces of a larger puzzle.
On Dottie's vendor inventory are a variety of minor goods. She has one weapon for sale, a harpoon gun, which makes sense if she's trying to get back at those fish that are always watching. She, of course, sells a lab coat. I bought it to see if it shares the same unique skin as the one she's wearing, but sadly, it doesn't. A U.S. Covert Operations Manual and 2 notes. Caps are capitalism and toying with us. We'll purchase these to read. She has a minor selection of junk, including a little ginger Snuggles teddy bear, and of course ammunition for the harpoon gun.
Oh, I see. Not wearing clothes to make sure you're not wearing a wire. Smart.
Not sure why she said that. I was wearing a hazmat suit at the time. Anyway, we'll start by reading Toying with Us. We all know that the government is using living creatures to act as cameras. In fact, this is too well known. They know we know. That's why they've begun the inanimate operation. If it has eyes, there's a good chance they're watching. Watch them before they watch you. Keep an eye out for anything with a face that's somewhere it shouldn't be. The only thing I know is safe is my little ginger Snuggles, but that's only because I dissected him 4 times to be sure. Okay. After reading this top secret document, I purchased little ginger Snuggles from her and inspected it, and it appeared to be, well, just a regular little ginger Snuggles. Next, we can read, Caps are capitalism. Money is worthless. Its value is merely an illusion performed by the government. Who is the director of this stage? Nuka-Cola. It's so obvious. They weren't satisfied with making money, so they decided to make money via caps. They make the caps. They put the caps in capitalism and started a war to destabilize the bank so people need to buy their beverages. Well, as far as conspiracy theories go, I guess I've heard worse. I mean, it doesn't explain the Midwest using pull tabs as currency, as we learned during the events of Fallout Tactics, but it's still a passable conspiracy.
Every now and again I think, I know you're listening very loudly. Helps throw them off.
Right. Well, Dottie, maybe you can explain yourself. You said something about staying away from the water. What did you mean by that?
Shh. I was trying to be subtle when I said that. Can't let those ominous ocular obscura learn too much.
Obscure what?
Oh, I thought you had a base level of understanding. Okay, let me try to get you up to speed. The fish are here to spy on us. You ever think about why they're spying on us with fish? Fish live in water. People need water. Think about it. Every time you drink water, a fish takes a picture. That picture goes straight to Mr. Bradburton to let them know that's one less Nuka-Cola sale.
Okay, wait a minute. So the fish conspiracy is that the fish are actually cameras that are reporting to Bradburton about our dirty water consumption? I mean, she's right in that Bradburton is still alive. Of course, she would have no way of knowing that for sure. But this is all a plot to get us to drink Nuka-Cola instead of water. No Lovecraftian angle? Even if that made sense, why would the government give that information to Nuka-Cola?
Because that's how they're funding the research to turn their drinks into high explosives. If war breaks out, you pop one open and suddenly you can zap your thirst and the entire city block. Look, if you don't know these basic facts, I may have my work cut out for me. Tell you what, let me know when you're mentally and physically ready, and I'll give you some more of these hard truths. They'll fundamentally change you and give you a better understanding of the world. Just don't go spreading the information around.
What? This is actually correct, kind of. As we learned during the Nuka World DLC for Fallout 4, John Caleb Bradburton, the head of Nuka-Cola, made an agreement with the United States military to, in exchange for access to the Leap X program, which would have prolonged his life, allow the military to use his scientists and researchers to come up with chemical weapons for the military. He dubbed this project Project Cobalt. The team was successful in coming up with a new isotope derived from strontium-90, which they dubbed Quantum. They used this isotope to make existing munitions more powerful, including mini-nukes, creating the prototype of the Nuka Nuke. They also discovered that this compound was ingestible, and they used it in a new line of soft drinks called Nuka-Cola Quantum. It is this very same isotope that makes Nuka-Cola Quantum glow blue. So she's right? I'm ready to start learning.
Is that so? Let me see if I have any simple facts I can teach you about. Oh, here's one. You ever wonder why Nuka-Cola is so obsessed with making perfectly ice-cold beverages? It's because they're going to freeze the executives so they can survive stock drops. Believe you me, they'll outlast us all. Nothing more to it. It just works.
It just works.
Okay, well, a slightly breaking the fourth wall moment there at the end with a veiled reference to Todd Howard there. But again, she's right, because that's exactly what John Caleb Bradburton did. The Leap X program that he gained access to in exchange for allowing the military to use his scientists allowed him to achieve immortality by using cryonics to preserve his head in a jar. A head which at this moment in Fallout's history is still alive and well at Nuka World. Nuka-Cola really did preserve at least one of their executives using cryonics. That's 2 for 2 here. How much does she know? We can ask her to share her knowledge again.
Whoa there. I already told you one of the secrets of the universe. Let that information sink in before you overload your brain.
And she refuses to teach us anymore. She gave us the impression that once it sank in, she would have more secrets to share with us. But I came back many different times, across many different servers, spanning many different days, and she never had any new secrets to share. I guess she intends that secret to sink in forever. Right, well, Dottie, I wanted to get your thoughts on something.
I'll try to illuminate you however I can.
Tell me about the Enclave.
What's there to know? Secret underground society? Yeah, right. Why do you think they have a logo? Not to communicate between members, but to distract. People looking for the shadow government find the Enclave and stop looking. But then they'll never know who's really pulling their strings.
All right. Well, I mean, the Enclave was the shadow government. But I suppose there could be a shadow of the shadow government. Tell me about super mutants.
Obviously, they're just the government's plan for the next wave of soldiers. Strong, dumb, and easily manipulated. That's what the government wants. Thankfully, they seem resilient to government control. I'd hate to see them organized under one leader.
And again, she's right. Super mutants exist because of the forced evolutionary virus. The forced evolutionary virus was designed by Vault-Tec under the direction of the military to create super soldiers. They never got it to work the way they wanted it to, but over 100 years after the Great War, there will emerge someone who is able to organize super mutants under one leader, the Master. Tell me about Vault-Tec.
The only trustworthy American company. They promised vaults, and we got them. What more could you say about reinforced holes in the ground?
Ah, all right. Well, Vault-Tec isn't really a trustworthy company. We know as much, having explored many of their vaults, not only throughout Appalachia, but also in California, Boston, the ruins of DC, and the Mojave Wasteland. The Fallout show has only reinforced the idea that Vault-Tec was not a trustworthy company. Okay, so she got this one wrong. That doesn't necessarily mean that she's just guessing. Tell me about the Mothman cultists.
Everyone knows Mothman was on the president's payroll. Think about it. Mothman shows up. An entire bridge disappears, but no one cares because they're busy looking for the man with the wings. Why'd he do it, you ask? That bridge was made of steel, and that would have gotten in the way of the upcoming fish neural network. Anyone still worshipping him must have been indoctrinated by government agents at a young age.
All right, so she's referring to Point Pleasant. There used to be a bridge that spanned the Ohio River between Gallipoli and Point Pleasant. On December 15th, 1967, it collapsed, killing 46 people. The collapse of the Silver Bridge really happened in our own universe. It's true that there is a significant Mothman cultist presence at Point Pleasant, due largely in part to the Mothman Museum, which is also in Point Pleasant. But the fish with the neural networks and Mothman as a distraction, that sounds like she's just pulling that out of thin air. Tell me about the Scorched.
A failed communication network. Those crystals can transmit thoughts, but they also infect everyone. Congratulations, Mr. Government. You can communicate over long distances as long as you want to say, not us. Wait. Maybe that's what they wanted. A system to identify people not under their control. I should write this down.
Okay. Well, it is true that the Scorched can seemingly telepathically communicate with each other, but is it due to the crystals that are growing out of their bodies? I don't think we've ever found any evidence that that's the case.
You're probably gonna meet a fate worse than death, like being trapped in the deep abyss or paying taxes.
Well, Dottie, tell me a bit about yourself.
I feel like you fundamentally misunderstand our position if you're asking that.
We find that we have to pass either an intelligence check of 8 or a charisma check of 8 to get her to answer our question. Donning some clothing that gives us a boost to intelligence and taking some grape mentats, we can ask her again. Passing either of these two checks leads to the same dialogue tree. We could pass the intelligence check by saying, for us to stand against the government, I need to know what they already know.
You're right. You need to know more to make sure I don't get swapped out by a near-perfect replica.
Or we could pass the charisma check and say, well, maybe you're a government plant. Only way to prove you're not is to tell me more.
I hate that insinuation. But you make a good point. Fine. Ask your questions. Just know that names, locations, and events may be modified to protect certain parties.
Where are you from?
Redacted. West Virginia. Don't look at me like that. No one knows where I grew up. Not even me. It was just the bunker under the house. Considering how it was when I left, it's probably now under the water. Darn conniving fish.
Where did you learn all of this information?
I was lucky that my parents were the smartest people I knew. Coincidentally, they were the only people I knew. There was a big event when I was young, and my parents took me to a safe space where they taught me about the real world. They started speaking in coded phrases and grunts before I left, but I guess they had to become more secretive since water started trickling in. Maybe I can find them again one day, and they can teach me the solution to their cipher.
So as a young child, Dottie and her parents hid in a private fallout shelter on their property. They survived, but her parents became feral ghouls, their speech devolving into grunts, which she interpreted as code. The big event she's referring to is, of course, the nuclear apocalypse of 2077, and perhaps she became a ghoul slowly over time, allowing her to grow up first before she became ghoulified. For as we learned from Billy the Kid in a Fridge, kids stop growing when they become ghouls. How hard did you have to hit your head for all of this to make sense?
I'm very fortunate that this information comes to me naturally. I've met some unfortunate souls that needed repeated percussive maintenance before they accepted the truth.
What? Is she saying the only people she can convince are those who've had brain damage? Okay. Assuming you're right about everything, what's the plan here?
Simple. Cut the strings that bind us to their whim. Let's see what they do with their cross brace when the puppets have left the stage.
How did you become a ghoul?
A what?
You know, the unique look you have.
People here are really uneducated. You see, as you age, your body goes through something known as puberty. I don't remember the specifics, but it involves your hair growing and/or falling out. It'll happen to you someday. Don't worry.
She spent her teenage years in the bunker with her parents. As she hit puberty, she was also simultaneously becoming a ghoul. She must have emerged from her bunker recently, if she doesn't even know what a ghoul is. We do find an option to flirt with her. We could say, since we're doing an undercover investigation, how about we investigate under some covers?
Well, I think... Oh no. I had heard reports about love being in the air. I didn't know it was weaponized already. Whew, boy. Let's not take some deep breaths and maybe this psychological warfare will pass. I'm going over here to pretend this didn't happen. Let me know when that is out of your system.
Which makes her very uncomfortable, understandably. And we get kicked out of dialogue.
Did you find the thing under the lake?
What? What thing under the lake? What are you talking about? You're delusional. Do you even realize that nothing you've said is correct?
Oh, really? How do you know anything? A teacher told you? You find out for yourself? Well, guess what? You and me? We're exactly the same. The only difference between us is I never took anything at face value. It also helps that my teachers weren't selected by the government. You don't want to accept the truth? Fine. I won't tell you. But when you realize there's more to the world than you understand, I'll be right here, ready to explain it.
Gosh, she sounds like she was raised by the Free States. Oh, maybe she was.
I've heard some people say that the missions to the moon were faked. They're missing the big picture. The moon itself is fake.
Oh, really?
We should have code words so we know if we're being watched. If I ever say the, we need to prepare to leave the area immediately.
Okay. See you later, Dottie.
Not if I see you first. Keep your eyes open when exploring. If you ever see toilet paper backwards, that means it is close.
Right. Well, she got a few things right. She got a lot of things wrong as well. I think we can chalk this up to being another case of a broken clock being right twice a day. We understand by learning about her background that she's pretty much new to the world, spending her youth and teenage years in an underground bunker, ignorant of what real wastelanders above ground are living through. She hasn't really given us any evidence that she has any factual basis for any of the claims she makes. And so, the idea that fish are actually cameras whose eyes are hooked up to a network that sends information to John Caleb Bradburton about the drinking habits of wastelanders? I think we can safely ignore that one. But what are your thoughts on Dottie? Have you made any other connections between her crazy conspiracy theories and real things we know about the Fallout universe? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you soon with more brand new videos.
Holy Mothman, I join you in eternity.